Appreciate those of you who came and painted. It's so much brighter out there, and it's cool. So thank you for all your help. To the mission group that gave up their vacation to go with us to Cumberland, we had an awesome time. You really do want to go ahead and start planning now to go next year. We could have probably used another adult in every area just because it makes things go better. But the good news is that everybody who's there, with the exception of the kitchen crew, and we're trying to fix that, but everybody who's there gets to interact with these kids in a really, really powerful way. And we're kind of sorry that our kitchen crew doesn't get to do that, and they're all like, man, it's great that we feed the kids, but so we're trying to figure out how we could do that even better, and we've committed to Club 180 for another year. They have a lot of great stuff going on there, and it's funny how many people, the Steve that owned the sub shop there in Gallatin, Nichols. So Steve Nichols owned that. He was on staff, I think, at Rivers. Before that, it was Bluegrass Baptist or whatever. Their family has picked up and moved out there. They're renovating something. They're living in Lynch now, and they're all. So it's just kind of cool how we're so interconnected with that area, and so we're going to continue to do that. Doug's father is not doing well in Texas, and so Doug and Amy are there. So if we have any children's Gateway kids, which we have a couple back there, I'm going to ask them to help me out today as we teach. They and I teach you about an important thing. So you guys back there in the back, you guys want to come up? And Hannah and Reagan, you can come too. We could use the extra help. You don't have to, but if it's not you, I might get your dad in here, and that would be embarrassing. Yeah, Emma says she did. So anyways, so today we're going to learn about something. So you guys come on up. I have a little assignment for you. There are snacks involved if you want to participate, adults. Believe it or not, raisins and fruit snacks. No candy in there. What's happened to the pastor? So, okay, so you guys will notice. What do you notice immediately about these straws? They're cut. And why? How are they cut? They're cut in an angle. Okay, you notice how they could. Isn't that cool? So what you guys are going to do, you're going to you can pick any two colors that you want. You can do it multiple times. What you're going to do is you're going to take the one color that you want, then you're going to stick one of these little things down inside, and then you're going to take a piece of tape, and you're going to tape it like this, and then you're going to pick the other color that you want, and you're going to slide it over that. You're going to put it like that, and then you're going to tape it again. Does that sound good? Okay, so make as many combinations as you want. Talk amongst yourselves while I teach your parents something important. Okay, so what is this an example of? Well, let me ask you guys a question, and you guys can answer this too if you want, but who knows what that is? Steve knows. But Steve and I have talked about this, so he knew anyways. But how many of y'all think this is a plumbing tool? How many of y'all think it's a woodworking tool? Sure. How many of y'all think this might be a tool used for grafting trees? All of a sudden the light comes on. Oh, this is because we're in Romans chapter 11, where it talks about being grafted in. That is one of those cool new tools, and here's what it does. If you see the bottom of it, you can see where it cuts, it takes a notch cut on one end, and on the other end it makes a valley cut. So it'll end up looking, So it does that. And so now you can take the one type of apple branch, and you can graft in the other kind of apple branch or the other fruit or whatever. There's this professor in Syracuse. He has successfully grafted 40 different types of fruit together in one tree, which begs the question, why? I mean, what I really like fruit, but I've got a very small yard. I don't know. But so anyways, this is kind of cool. So it fits together like that, and then they tape it together. Now, what would happen if you took a dead branch and grafted it to a live branch? Well, the dead branch is not going to come back to life. There has to be life in both ends, but when there's life in this end and there's life in that end, and they're put together, and then they're nurtured and all this other stuff, you can come up with some pretty amazing things. This is a tree where they have grafted a yellow golden apple with a red delicious apple. Well, that's pretty cool. For those of you not too much into fruit, but you like things, this is a bougainvillea, okay? I've got it on my notes. I spelled it the way that the website spelled it, and still my computer kept telling me that is not how you spell bougainvillea. So we're just going to go with that. But here's this is a multi-grafted, huh? Thank you. It's from California? Well, see, that explains the weirdness of it all. No, I'm just kidding. But look at the beautiful colors there, you know? I mean, you could have just one, but you had one. I think this would look good on the golf course, don't you? Yeah, exactly. So, okay, so what does that have to do with the lesson? Guys, how many did you make? Let's see them. Hold them up there. Okay, so I made a green and blue one, orange and green, pink and orange. They're awesome. Are you all? Now, do you think that these would actually work? You could take them to lunch with you today and work? They would work, you think? I want you to try that. In the meantime, you guys can get as much of that as you want and then pass this around through the adults. Just so you know, these are strawberry raisins, watermelon raisins, and then just fruit snacks. I'm sorry. So go ahead and pass those around. I tried to find something that would, actually illustrate the blending of different fruit flavors. And chocolate, I kept all that. That's all in my office. The chocolate and caramel grafting has already happened. So Paul has been talking to the church. Who's in the church? Well, mostly in the church are a lot of Jews who have converted to Christianity. They've become completed. One fellow who was a completed Jew and was asked, when did you convert to Christianity? And he said, I didn't convert, I completed. A non-Christian, a non-Jew, a Gentile would convert to Christianity, but a Jewish person would become completed. They already had the groundwork laid through the Old Testament, but now the switch is flipped and they realize that Jesus is the Messiah, and so now they are completed. So we talk about there being a completed Jew. So they're in the church. The majority of the people they've been in the church. They've been Jewish, and now they've come after follow Jesus, and they've become the Christian church. But also Gentiles have come in, people of all different races, and slaves and rich people and on all these other things. And Paul is trying to give them an encouraging word. One of the things I love about Romans chapter 11 is we see Paul get kind of excited there, because near the end of it, at the very end of it, he's actually probably standing up going, yeah, yay, God's awesome. And we're gonna get there. Yeah, I promise we'll get there. So he's been talking to the church. He's been talking to the people who are there. It's a complex relationship. Have you ever noticed that in most religious groups, even in some, we won't, and I don't use religion as a good thing. I'm saying those people who it's a list of rules and do's and don'ts, and that's how you keep square with everybody. Have you noticed in that there's always got to be that one group that it's okay to hate? Well, it's okay to hate. It's okay to be unforgiving. It's okay to hold those people and just kind of scorn them and mock them. And those are the people that we should take and we should stone them and all that other stuff. Well, I have a struggle thinking that you're following Jesus if you think that means somewhere you get to have a hate list. You get to have a list of people who, no, they're not worthy of the redemptive work of Christ. They're not worthy of my love. They're not worthy of forgiveness. Okay, you may not completely understand who you were before Christ if you think there's a group of people who should still. Now, does that mean that, well, we should just be okay with everything? And no. We want to live throughout the Scriptures, and we want to become the righteousness of Christ, and we want to proclaim the righteousness of Christ. But that means we love people even if we disagree with lifestyles, or even if we disagree with things that they've done or things that they believe. So that's really important. I have a saying I'll get to later. I'll go ahead and say it now. People who like to keep score. The one thing I know about people who like to keep score, they are planning on declaring a winner at some point. See, if you keep a score, the only reason to keep score is that at some point you're going to declare somebody a winner, and usually you're wanting to declare yourself a winner. So you keep score on the thing that you're okay with, the thing you don't struggle with, the thing that you don't have a problem with, but all those other people, well, they do this and they do that and they do this and they do that. And so it kind of gives us this, well, I'm better than you. Well, no, I'm better than you. Well, Paul was dealing with that in the church in Rome. Because they had the Jews who were saying, look, we've been living the law, we've been carrying this, we've been doing all this stuff, and Paul says, yeah, you're self-righteous, and that doesn't work. And then the Gentiles were going, well, yeah, but look at us. We haven't been like the Jews. We haven't known all along and denied and walked away from God numerous times. And Paul's saying, yeah, but you were completely unrighteous. You were lost too. You were both lost. Different reasons, but the same condition. And Christ came so that all can have redemption. So that's where he's at in this part. And last 3 weeks ago, what he said was that if the Israelites were broken off for a while to make room for the Gentiles, how much more it's going to be blessed when the Israelites come back, when the Jew comes back. So it's not like, okay, well, we get front of the line, you have to go to the back of the line. It's all one line. Another thing that I think is really important, that kind of invades sometimes thinking, and some of you have heard this before because I say it a lot. Treating people the same and treating people equally is not the same thing. Okay? Christian and I are both sick. They're not really sick, and I'm not really sick. I'm just saying this as an example. Or either of you Christians. Okay, Christian and Christian. Let's do it that way. The two Christians in the room, there are only two Christians in the room. The two Christians in the room are both ill. They're under the weather. They both go to the same doctor. The doctor spends the same exact amount of time with both of them. The doctor prescribes the same exact drug and the same exact dosage, the same exact length of period of time, and they go out. The doctor has treated them the same. There's a problem. They have two different diseases. So he treated them the same, but he did not treat them equally because one of them is going to get better and the other one's not. So treat somebody the same is not the same as treating them equal. To treat them equal is you look at them and go, okay, well, you have the flu, but you have something else. So I give you this for the flu and I give you this for that other thing. We have children. We have a child who they need words of encouragement and affirmation and things like that. And we have a child who needs other things, who needs the time of, there you go. Affection, physical affection, all that stuff. If a parent, as a parent, I say, well, I want to treat all my children the same, you're not going to treat them equally. Because what you do for one will not translate to the other one the same way. So if we want to be equal, then we have to go, okay, well, what does this person need and what does this person need? God treats us equally, but he doesn't treat us the same because where the Jews were and where the Gentiles were two different places. Both lost, but they were two different places. And so that's what Paul has been saying all along. He's like, look, don't get prideful because you weren't lost the way they were lost. You were still lost. And don't get prideful that you were found a different way than they were found because you both had to be found. And that's what he's really trying to say here. And he's so excited because it's like, at the end of the day, isn't God cool that he could take two groups of people who couldn't be any different and yet he can bring them to become one people. That is really powerful. So here we are, Romans chapter 11, verse 16, and here we go. If the first piece of dough is holy, the lump is also. And if the root is holy, the branches are too. Sally and I think it was a couple weeks ago, we were on our way to the Kroger, which is our daily routine. It's our daily date. We go to the Kroger together. But this particular day, we were going to get pancake mix because Saturday mornings in our house for years has been pancake day. I make pancakes. She fries the bacon, I make the pancakes. A few years ago, well, within the last year or so, someone whose name will not be mentioned has decided that she needs to be gluten-free.